We are learning the Sefer Pituchei Chotam from Rabi Yakov Avi Chatzira. We are recording live in Artseinu HaKadoshah in Yerushalayim HaKodesh. May it be rebuilt speedily in our days. It is Pרשת Matos Masei for those residing in Chutz La'aretz. Here in Eretz Yisrael, we're just landing Pרשת Masei. It's been a long time since we've been together. Shem, next week we'll be back on Devarim for both Chutz La'aretz and Eretz Yisrael. All right, so let's begin with, if you would like to see a Gevaldige Shekol Torah from Rabi Yakov on Pרשת Matos, take a look at the link in the comments. That'll take you to last year's video on Pרשת Matos. Awesome piece on the on Hachshar Kalim and what has to do with Limud HaTorah. Fantastic. Highly suggested. This week we're going to talk about Pרשת Masei. Eila Masei b'nei Yisrael sheyotzim Eretz Yisrael l'tzivaysam b'yad Moshe v'Aaron. So they're on to traveling. These are the travelings, the marches of the Bnei Yisrael from Eretz Mitzrayim all the way into Eretz Yisrael. And the Torah records a bunch of journeys of the Bnei Yisrael. Now, going from Mitzrayim to Eretz Yisrael is a big, it's a big difference. It's a big difference. The Gemara tells us in Ksubas, "Kol hadar be'Eretz Yisrael is doim k'misha yesh lo yeleka, v'chol hadar b'chutz la'aretz is doim k'misha ein lo yeleka." If you live in Eretz Yisrael, you have a God, and if you don't live in Eretz Yisrael, I should say, if you live in chutz la'aretz, so you're like somebody who doesn't have a God, Rahman al-Islam, because Rabbi Yaakov explains, because the Iker Hashras Hashchina is in Eretz Yisrael. The Iker Hashras Hashchina. You want to feel the Shechina, the place to feel it is in Eretz Yisrael. So we know that the even in Gullus, the Shechina hasn't left the Kaisel Ha'ma'aravi. I heard of Nevinsal, some people like to, face the Makam HaMikdash when they daven. When they're at the Kaisel, so they'll turn a bit to the left to face the Kodesh HaKadoshim. And I think I read or I heard once in Shem of Nevinsal, they asked him why he doesn't do that. He says he can't turn a shoulder on the Shechina. He can't turn, put a shoulder towards the Shechina HaKadosh. The Kaisel Maravi is a makam of Ashrayis HaShechina. My son told me here from B'Shem de Gra that by Keva Rachel is where the Shechina resides in Gullus. Is a special Ashras HaShechina. Eretz Yisrael has Ashras HaShechina. And Chutz La'aretz doesn't have that same level of Ashras HaShechina. The Rabbeinu Yaakov, he says that in the beginning of Shemais and Moshe Rabbeinu, Kadosh Baruch Hu is telling Moshe Rabbeinu that I'm going to take you out from Oni Mitzrayim. Me'oni Mitzrayim, and I'm going to bring you El Eretz Toiva Rechava. The Oni Mitzrayim is Chutz La'aretz. It doesn't have, they feel poor. There's no Hashras HaShechina, and the Eretz Toiva Rechava is a place of Hashras HaShechina. So how do we get from Chutz La'aretz into Eretz Yisrael? Take 42 journeys. Eila Masei b'nei Yisrael. These are the sojournings of Bnei Yisrael. The Rashi Tevis, Masei b'nei Membeis, and there are actually, you count them up, 42 journeys Klal Yisrael had to take through the desert to get to Eretz Yisrael. What are these 42 journeys? Why 42 journeys? So we know that there's a Shem of Membeis. Hashem has a name of Arba, the Shem Havaya. There's a Shem Membeis, there's a Shem Ayin Beis. So what is the Shem of Membeis? So Rabbi Yaakov tells us that there are actually 4 different Shemas of Membeis, and that there's one that's used in the Olam Asiyah to get us to the Olam of Yetzirah. And there's one that takes us from the Olam Yetzirah to the Olam of Bria, and one that takes us from the Olam of Bria to the Olam HaAtzilus. The Shem Membeis is a name that works as a transferer, or that helps us transition, is a better word, transitions us. The Shem Membeis. That's why in the morning we say the Shem. We refer to one of the Shems of Membeis as we go from Karbanas into Psuki de Zimra. And that is the Shem Membeis that is based on the tefillah, or I should say the opposite. The tefillah of Rabbi Nechuni ben Akana of Ana Bekoyach is based on the Shem of Membeis, the Rashi Tevis of that tefillah. Ana Bekoyach Dula Shemin Chatat Zrur. If you take the Rashi Tevis, Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Yud, Tav, Tzadik, that is a combination. There are 42 letters, and that is a combination of letters that make up the Shem Membeis that take us from the Olam Maisiya to the Olam Yitzir. And therefore, and by Shachris, after we finish Karbanas, which is the Olam Yitzira, and we're going into the Olam of Pesukei de Zimra of the Yitzira, we say the Shem of Ana Bekoyach. Similarly, on Friday night, after we say the 6 Mizmorim of Kabbalah Shabbos that correspond to the 6 days of the week, and we're getting ready to sing L'Chadaydi, which is going to take us in to Mizmor Shir L'Yom HaShabbos. We also sing Ana Bekoyach, which is this beautiful poem that was written by Rabbi Nechuni ben Akana based on the Shem Membeis. So that's from the Olam Asiya into the Olam Yitzira. Then there's another Shem of Ekya Yud Hei Vav, which the gematria of those letters, Ekya is 21, and Yud Hei Vav is 21, and that gives you 42. That's a Shem from the Ilm Yitzira. And then there's one that is used in the Ilm of Bria to get us, to transition us to the Ilm of Batzilus, and that is the Shem Membeis, which is made from the Shem Memhei. So the Shem takes, what is the Shem Memhei? So the Shem Havaya has 4 different ways it could be Mamalit. The Mili of the Shem Havaya can be done in 4 different ways. It's Ab, Ba, Sag, Ma, and Ben. Which means you could spell out when you're spelling the Mila, when you're spelling out Yud, Hey, Vav, and Hey, it could be spelled different ways. Hey, Yud is always spelled Yud, Vav, Dalet. Hey could be spelled Hey, Yud. It could be spelled Hey, Hey. It could be spelled Hey, Aleph. So the different ways to spell the Shem, different ways to spell the Shem Havaya. You also have, there's one that's the Shem Memhei, which is spelled with a mili of Aleph. Okay. Now, if you were to take the Shem Memhei, and you'd be Mamalit. So the Shem Havaya itself has 4 letters. The mili of the Shem Havaya of Memhei has 10 letters. Yud, Vav, Dalet, Hey, Aleph, Vav, Hey, Aleph is 10 letters. And if you do the mili of the mili, which means you would spell Yud, so it's Yud, Vav, Dalet, but you would spell that again, so it would be Yud, Vav, Dalet. And then for the Vav would be Vav, Vav. And then for the Dalet would be Dalet, Lamed, Tav. You'd spell out each of the letters of the Miloi, that would give you another 28 letters. So the 4 for the Shem Havaya, the 10 for the Miloi, and the 28 for the Miloi. The Miloi give you also 42. So those are different. There's again 3 different Shemas that give us Membeis, and they're used from different Ilamas. So the Zayar, Rabi Yakov quotes from the Arizal that from going from Chutz La'aretz is considered the Olam HaAsiyah. Into Eretz Yisrael is the Olam of Yitzira. So in that transition from the Olam HaAsiyah to the Olam of Yitzira is using the Shem Membeis that is based on the first one from Olam HaAsiyah to Olam Yitzira is the one that we're familiar with of the Ana Bekoyach. That's how we get there. Now, to appreciate, Rabbi Yaakov says, he's telling us that when every transition Klal Yisrael went through parallels things that go on with the Shekhinah. He said throughout the Svarim, Rabbi Yaakov told us that the Shishim Riboy, the fact that there's 600,000, corresponds to the 6 spheres of the Zeir Ampin, of Chesed, Gvur, Tveres, Netzach, Yisoid, multiplied. It's 6 multiplied to 600,000. The way the Klal Yisrael was arranged in their encampment of the 4 sides around the Shekhinah, paralleled also things that go up in Shemayim, the different Malachim and the Tzuras HaMishkan, is paralleling Heilig HaZachen, and our ascent from Chutz La'aretz into Eretz Yisrael parallels the Shemas HaKadosh. That's our connection that we have to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So as we go from Chutz La'aretz into Eretz Yisrael this week, as we learn Parshas Masei, we're getting ready to get into Eretz Yisrael. We're reading over the Shem Mem Beis. We're reading over these 42 Masais, getting ready, getting us ready. Appreciate our connection we have with the Shekhinah as part of Klal Yisrael. We have a intimate connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have to feel that love HaKadosh Baruch Hu has for us. We should be zeich to have that, to have a wonderful Shabbos Kodesh.